Dun, dun, dun. I guess I need my microphone over here. Dun, dun, dun. I need to have some kind of intro music. I don't know. You guys need to help me out with that. Hey, good morning. Welcome to KickASSery. This guy right here, I'm Dale Maxwell, and I've been gone for a while. True story, true story. It's I tried to do a kind of a not recap show, kind of a hey, I'm back show the other day, and I goofed up and I messed up, and it just got erased, and I kind of messed anyway. So cut, do it again. Here we go. Let's have some fun. Let's do this thing. So what is KickASSery? What does it matter? And what am I talking about today? So KickASSery is basically my opportunity to talk to, brag on, and share with the world influencers. This whole thing started out as personal influencers, people who have made a significant impact on my life. And this is my opportunity to say, hey, these are incredibly awesome people. You should learn from them. And the more I did this, the more I learned from this process, the more I recognized I have met some insanely cool people over the years. Being an Army wife, being a military family, bouncing around the United States and even the world, have had this, I've gotten to meet like really, really cool people. And that's part of my skill set is I meet people. That's what I do. So as you're watching this is being simulcasted amongst several other shows. So if right above here, there's a couple links. There's one link that if you're watching this and if you happen to not be on my KickASSery page, then if you make comments, I can't see them right now. And even when the show's over, I'm not going to see them either. So click on that link and it'll bring you right here to where I'm at right now. And as you comment and stuff, I can see it and I can respond to it. The other one is if you want to join me live, because here's what we're going to do. If you want to join me live and help me do this, that would be freaking amazing. This is what I'm doing. I am going to talk about all of the guests that have been on the show. I attempted to do this the other day, but I didn't have everyone's pictures loaded up. So I missed a bunch of people and I couldn't have that. That really bothered me a lot. So I am majority percentage sure that I have everybody. I hope. I double checked everything this morning and I really hope I have everyone. So if you want to comment and be here live, click that link. If you want to join me live on camera, click that link and we'll be set to go. Before we get started and before I lose anybody, I do want to I want to ask you guys for your help. I asked this the other day and I'm going to continue to ask for your help. I would love for you, and this has already worked. I would love for you to send me a referral. Give me an idea of who in your personal life that you personally know that you would love to see on KickASSery. That's what I'd love to know is who is on who in your life is a great influencer, has great input into your life and the community and anything else. And I don't care who they are. I don't care what industry they're in. It doesn't matter to me. This has already worked. A phenomenal supporter of the show had me reach out to a gentleman up in PA, and we were on the phone the other day, and we're scheduling for November. He's already scheduled it. So there's our first November guest already lined up. So that's what I need is I need your guys' referrals of people that you know. I'm rusty. I haven't done this for a while and I can feel it. The other thing, and I'm going to ask this and I'm going to ask this and I'm going to ask this. And I was on another show 3 days ago, David Burrows' show, Stephen Healy and David Burrows. So Stephen's in the UK, David's up in Canada, and I jumped on their show for a little bit and I mentioned this to them. And this is what I'm really excited about. Is stretching ourselves beyond our personal influence. My question to you is, who would you love to have on the show that you would consider as an untouchable, a celebrity, someone that you would never in 100 years think that you could get in contact with? I've had that want since we started this process here at KickASSery, and I've not had the balls to do it because I've always they're unreachable. Well, I was talking to Steven and David about that on their show, and they're like, nobody's untouchable. No one's unreachable. It's just who do you know and how do you, it's that whole 6 degrees of separation thing. And so they're getting me in contact with a few folks as well. So who would you consider one of those people that you would love for me to have a conversation with? My list, the top of my list, and here's where I'm asking for help. I'm asking for help. My top of my list of who I would love to have on the show is Jennifer Nettles. Jennifer Nettles from Sugarland. The reason is because she is a 4-H kid. That's how she got her singing career started. I feel she is a phenomenal artist. She bleeds green. She's a 4-H advocate. And that's who the top of my list is. Of course, Gary Vaynerchuk, John Maxwell, Tony Robbins, any of those influencers like that would be incredible. So who's your list? Type it in, put it in the comments below so that we can start working on that. With all that said, I want to get started with this. I want to start bragging on people. Kenny Pittman. Yes, buddy. I'm stepping up the game, brother. I got my lights. I got this. I got my microphone. The problem is the background looks like poo so far. So I've got to work on that. I've got a little garbage over here. That's one of my child's. That's Lawson's art project. That's not going anywhere. That's staying there. So yeah, I've got to work on this back here. But yeah, man, look at this. Oh, what's up, buddy? I love Kenny. We're going to brag on Kenny here in just a few minutes. So I want to get started on this. I want to start bragging on people in a big way. Here's what's incredible about who we've had on the show. Kenny Pittman was on the show. Huge influencer, huge. He's elected official in his community. You know what, Kenny? Let's just start with you, brother. Let's just go from there. I got to find you on my list of, where are you? Where are you? Oh, don't tell me I didn't put your picture in here. Man, okay, hold on, guys. So I am producer as well on the show. So I cannot believe I did that. Okay, let's back this up a second. I've got his picture here somewhere. I know I do. There it is right there. Got it. Bam, this man right here. So here's what's cool about this. Kenny influenced me in a huge way. Kenny took me under his wing when it came to me learning how to network and networking and with sales and that long tail of a relationship. And the one saying that I took from Kenny, and when he was on the show, he was super ridiculously humble, and I appreciate his humility, but I feel that he has every right to brag a little bit. He's an elected community member, community leader. He's a leader in his company. In my opinion, in my very humble opinion, he's the one major piece, not the one, but a major piece in making the company that he's a part of hugely, hugely successful. Everybody, if you don't know who Kenny Pittman is, then you're not in business in the Boise area, period. That's just all there is to it. The one thing that when I was growing up, you know, we all know the saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know, right? It's not what you know, it's who you know. And I used that saying with Kenny one day when I was in his car and we were driving around and he was mentoring me. And he said, no, that's not 100%. He's like, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. You want to talk about a light bulb moment. Who knows you? Because here's the thing. We can open up the phone book and say a name and say, yeah, I know that person. Or we can meet somebody at a networking event or shake someone's hand and be like, yeah, I know that guy. But do they know me? When they hear my name, do they recognize the name? Can they put my face to the name? Can they put my business to the name? Can they say, yeah, that's a great guy? It's not what you know. It's not who you know. It's who knows you. And that right there, Kenny, blew my mind, and it made a huge impact on my life. And I appreciate everything about that. Morning, Brad. What's happening? Yes, Justin, you're absolutely right. Kids stuff is part of our legacy. Absolutely. Brad is a rock star. I don't care who says what. That dude had, I don't think he still, do you still have a beard? I don't think you do. He had an epic beard. Kenny. My name is Kenny Pittman, and I do hard things. Love it. Love it. Like teaching this rockhead back in the day. Here's who I want to talk about next. Matt Lamont. I had Matt Lamont on the show a couple times, and this guy, where to go? He is an author as well. Ooh, that's super tiny. Let's fix that. He is an author. I Dare to Succeed. He's in the process of writing several more books. This guy, he's from Salmon. I've had a lot of Salmonites on the show because one thing I've learned by doing this is we are a super small community where I came from. Like the whole county's maybe 10,000 people in the entire county. And it's incredible to me how many people in that community has done exceptional things. He owns multiple businesses. He's in the process of growing one of his businesses exponentially. He has a shirt business that he and I are working on together. He's an author. This guy has a beautiful family. He's been on the show several times. He did his debut. I guess that's the right word for his book on my show. How freaking cool is that? He used my show to. So yeah, I was like totally like fanboying when that happened because I read almost his entire book before the show, and he's like, "You read that?" I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" So Matt, incredible man. Seth Humphrey, he was one of those referrals. John Mayhew was on the show, great buddy of mine. We'll talk about him here in a little bit. John, I reached out to him. I was like, "Hey, I need somebody." He's like, "This dude you need to have on here. There's no doubt about it. There's no question. You got to have this guy on the show." And I reached out to Seth. We had a phone call. And in that, I don't know, we probably spent half an hour on the phone. In that half an hour, I was beyond impressed. This guy, and one of the things that he told me on the phone, because if you guys follow my Triple D much at all, I talk a lot about being the light, shining our light brightly for everyone else. And he was like, "Yeah, buddy." He's like, "I'm not just a light. I'm a freaking beacon. I'm the beacon on the shore for the ships to come in." And I was like, "That you want to talk about up in the game?" I was like, that's it right there. And I've been following Seth since that time, and this guy is doing incredible things. You guys need to reach out to him. John has been working with him for a long time, but Seth has some incredible programs. He speaks motivation every day, does a video almost every day. He does a Facebook write-up dang near every day, if not every single day. And I mean, that guy, so amazing. Jana Kemp. So I met Jana Kemp a million years ago in 4-H. She was a 4-H kid in Wisconsin. I want to say Wisconsin. Correct me on that, please. I want to say Wisconsin. She was big into 4-H. She ended up moving to Idaho, and that's where I met her, was through leadership programs in Idaho. She was a legislator in the Idaho legislature. I'm probably going to stuff my foot in my mouth if I try to come up with details, which I probably will. So I'll behave myself. She still is huge in the political arena. She ran for governor for the state as an independent, and she still writes and she blogs. She's a professional coach. She helps organizations manage their meetings better. Jana is incredible. She was on the show twice. We had a huge technical issue, and the first time she was on the show, it was just me. Visually, it was just me because we could not get the video to work. So I took my phone, put it on speakerphone, set it up next to the microphone, and that's how we did it. We were like, by God, we're going to make this work. So, and then she came on and we had a very specific political conversation about elections and what politics really mean. And I want to have her back on again to expand on that, because politics is a really bad word. And most people, I actually had some friends that are like, as soon as I found out what your show was about, I chose not to watch it. Fair enough. That's cool. Didn't offend me whatsoever. But it also did really show me that there's this insanely negative context of what politics is. So I'm really looking forward to having her back on the show in the next few months. This gentleman right here, Stephen Healy, he's international. He's from the UK. He's Be Live. So the platform. So all of these things, these cool things that I get to do, and I get to show this and have this not the platform. The program that I'm using is called BeLive.tv. Super freaking cool. Well, Steven's been using it since it started. He personally knows the owners of the company, the ones that created this. And since that time, he's actually been brought on board and he's part of the Be Live team. So he has an insanely huge following. He does Udemy courses. This guy is incredible. I love Steven. You want to talk about humble. This guy does 5 to 8 shows a week on both what he does and co-hosts with everyone else. The guy is just, he's a machine when it comes to live streaming right now. And if you want to know any technical aspect about anything, about most any platform, most any API that has to do with a third party XYZ, dude, this is the guy to talk to. And I reach out to him. As a matter of fact, I have a question I want to ask him today. And he's so cool. He's like, yeah, here's the information, or here's a free Udemy course that I put together for you to go check that out. This guy, I'll tell you what, I'm so happy that I got connected. And here's how I connected with Steven. I started following him and watching him, and he was talking about all this stuff. And I just reached out to him one day. I was like, hey, I got this question. Immediately, he responded back, and I was like, hey, would you be interested in my tiny little my little tiny show? And he's like, absolutely. Let's schedule it. Let's make it happen. I want to be a part of it. I was like, cool, super cool. These next two right here are a pair that I had on the show. They sat in the office and they shared a camera. They're part of a phenomenal nonprofit in Oklahoma City that helps repair houses for elderly and the sick and whatnot else. And it was great having them on there. Phenomenal. I love nonprofits. I love everything that sector does and has. And having them on the show was really refreshing because we really talked about some of the nuances of nonprofits, and we talked about the misnomers of nonprofits and some of the negatives of nonprofits. It was a very candid conversation, and I really, really enjoyed it. Lori and Mike being on the show and just having that phenomenal conversation. And, maybe, I don't know, hopefully maybe in a really tiny way, they were able to use some of this content that they were able to reshare and maybe gotten some more traction, because I don't take ownership of any of this. Is, when we do one of these shows, it's yours. Share it, tag me in it. It's part of its marketing. Of course, I don't want to, but no, go use it, cut it up. I don't care. This is what we're doing. Another international dude, David Burrows. He has the TV network show. I want to say is that correct? Up in Canada. So he's Canadian. And he is a professional live streamer outside of just Facebook Live is live streaming, right? Outside of this guy's actually been doing live streaming professionally for sports and pageants and concerts and things like that for many years. And as a matter of fact, he just announced that he will be the first in Canada to be teaching a live streaming course at a university. That is pretty damn incredible right there. And I've been on his show a couple times. Super, super cool guy, super amazing. And he does, between Twitch and Facebook and YouTube, along with his direct streaming on websites, I don't know how many shows he does a week. I have no clue. I mean, that guy he's a machine. Another Salmonite right here. This was my next door neighbor growing up. So Raymond England. So him and his brother Lewis. So Lewis is a couple years younger than I am. Raymond's a couple years younger than Lewis. And we used to beat the snot out of each other. And we used to stay up. I mean, we were the neighborhood boys and we tore things up. I kind of lost track of Raymond for a while. We went up to Alaska. He was a professional snowboarder for a while. This kid could rip it. Man, I'll tell you what, I could never be as good on a board as he was. Probably still is. Way better than me even today. Come to find out, this dude turned out to be like a high-level freaking chef. And I reached out to him out of the blue. Hadn't talked to him in probably 18 years. And he's like, yeah, dude, I've worked with these guys and I've worked with these guys and I was in LA for a while. And I mean, to the level of, no joke, check this out, to the level of he had the opportunity to be on like the Food Network shows, like competing and stuff like that. He had the connections and the level of ability to compete on those shows. He chose not to. He chose to stick with his career and go a different direction, which I applaud him for. But one day we're going to see him on the Food Network. I know it. There's no doubt in my mind. Even if I have to throw his ass on the stage, it's incredible. And so it's crazy to me that here's a dude that I grew up with and I lost track of him. And then all of a sudden I find out this guy is like legit top level legit. And I think, correct me, but I think he's like running 3 restaurants right now all at the same time. Just crazy. This is my dude right here. So when we lived in Oklahoma, I met Sebastian. He's from Argentina, Buenos Aires, Argentina. And he came to the U.S. on a Rotary student exchange program. So he went his entire high school career in Oklahoma. I had a brain fart. In Oklahoma. And then he went to college there. And then where I met him was he was working for the Small Business Association there in Lawton, Oklahoma. And we kicked it off. I mean, great guy, really cool, super funny, super humble. I learned so much about Argentina. I learned so much about the immigration process and how messed up and screwed up it is. And because before that, I was just like, well, what the heck? You know what? If you just become a citizen, just become a citizen. And Sebastian's is like, it doesn't work that way. It's not that simple. So I learned a great deal from him. So much culture. Mate, the little tea drink. We had talked about that when he was on the show. You know, this little drink that it's very social and just the family dynamics. I really enjoyed Sebastian. Now he is working at a university in Florida. Wife, beautiful children. Just a really, really cool guy, really great dad. I miss him dearly. And when I finally was able to catch up with him and convince him to come on the show, he was very, very humble and he jumped on and it was great just to catch up with him, if nothing else. Here's the beard man himself. So here's Brad Payne. Brad Payne, Marine, Boise State alum. He played in the band. Just finished up. Brad, correct me if I'm wrong, but he just finished up his education. He's working at the biggest hospital in Boise right now. 4-H volunteer. He took over the leadership club there in Caney County. Great friend of mine. I met him up at a teen conference. Teen conference in Idaho is a youth leadership week long. It's where you get to just go hang out with 500 other teenagers from around the state. Well, around the country, really. There's kids from other states that come to it. And I met him as a delegate. And then he was a college staff with me. And now he's advisor in different programs. This dude has grown so much. His military career was very interesting. And I love Brad. Brad is good people. He had an epic beard, like super, amazing. It was so good that we actually made a sweatshirt with his face on it with the beard. And Brad, I appreciate that, man, and what he's doing for the community and the legacy of what, where is he? He's not here yet, but coming up, Andy Smith had given to him and that he's passing that legacy on to the next generations. That's what it's about. This young lady right here, what can I say about RJ Redden? RJ, holy smokes. there's this really cool new thing called messenger bots. I'm sure you guys have experienced it. Most of you probably are in my bot campaign for KickASSery, and if you're not, you need to be in there. So this is the next evolution of email. Basically, it's Facebook Messenger, and it's not necessarily an automate. There's a bit of automation to it, but it gives us the opportunity to build relationships quicker and do a lot more things with it. And RJ this is her full-time gig. This is what she does. You know, we were talking about Stephen Healy and the Be Live platform we're on right now. And she is now working with Be Live and their messenger bot program. And she educates people. She does 3 or 4 weekly shows talking about the subject. I mean, she lives, breathes bots. And she is incredible. The thing that I love about RJ is her knowledge base and her ability to look at, like, I've had several different programs. I'm like, here's what I want to do. And she's like, well, if you do this, this, and this, and tweak this, I think it'll work better. And I was like, oh, holy crap. You're right. That is going to work so much better. So, and the beauty of RJ is that if you say, hey, I want to meet you, I want to spend a few minutes talking to you. She's like, cool, awesome. Let's schedule it, make it happen. It just happens. And I really appreciate RJ and everything that she's done for the community and what she's educating everyone on. It's super awesomely incredible. This young lady right here, Vicky Lynn, Vicky taught me so much. Vicky taught me drive. Vicky taught me just stick-to-itiveness, courage. Vicky was my boss when I was in financial services. So I was a Primerica guy. Any of you guys remember back in the day in Primerica in its heyday? So I was part of Primerica during its heyday. And Vicky was my senior vice president. So she pushed me beyond anything that I thought I was capable of doing. She made me do things I hated. She made me do things that I despised, but it was all for growth. It was all for business. You know, we were one of just like because Primerica was based on like a multi-level marketing, direct sales hierarchy, right? So in our team, which stretched down to California from Idaho, had some of the biggest producing offices in Primerica, period, across the nation. And we were the #1 recruiting office in our team, right, in our hierarchy. And that was because of Vicky's leadership. She recognized our strengths. You want to talk about utilizing your team to their strengths. That's what Vicky did. She recognized our strengths, was strategic about utilizing those strengths, and then we just knocked it out of the stinking park. And it was incredible because our, whatever the term is, our highest uppity up in our team kept reaching out to her and was like, I see your numbers. What are you doing? And for a while, she wouldn't tell them. Nope, this is ours. They came up to the office and they're like, we want to see what's going on. And our tiny little itty bitty office was whooping everybody's ass when it came to recruiting. And that was because of Vicky and her leadership and everything that she taught us. And my favorite Vicky saying, my favorite Vickyism is, I'm like I'm like an octopus on roller skates. There's a whole lot of action and no direction, talking about being busy versus productive. Super, super love that. Melody Cower, 4-H mentor. This is the first of my mentors that I'll be talking about. Melody, you want to talk about, she's a teacher in a very small community up in Lemhi County. She absolutely loves and adores every single one of her kids and her people. She believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. She is, but I'll take advantage of when she was completely selfless when I was a kid, and her hours. You know, let's just be honest. Our parents and our leaders, when we're doing youth, anything, volunteering, sports, anything, our parents spend an insane amount of time into us, and they pour themselves into us. And this woman poured herself not into her own children, which she had a very large family, but everyone else's children. And Melody is she is a stinking rock star. Speaking of rock stars, this young lady, Michelle freaking Jakovac, this girl, you want to talk about an incredibly intelligent, amazing, awesome friend. I talk to her weekly. She's if I need to laugh or if I need to pick me up, I'm calling Michelle. Michelle absolutely despised being on the show. She did not want to be on the show. She was one of my first victims. We'll use that. She's like, no, not going to do it. I'm like, you're talking to me like I'm giving you a choice. But here's the thing, Michelle, you want to talk about humility as well. Humility is like the name of this game. I'm telling you, is she decided to jump into one of the hardest games there is, and that's real estate, being a residential real estate realtor. Okay, maybe that's a redundancy. Anyway, and she's killing it. She's killing it, and I have to remind her that she's killing it. Because we get so stuck in ourselves, and we're not blah 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 blah. And I have to, put my boot to her ass and say, no, you're doing awesome. And I'm going to get her back on the show. She doesn't know it yet, but she's going to get back on the show, and we're going to have a then and now scenario. But I love that girl to death. She's awesome. You want to talk about a trip? Stacy Allgood Smith. This woman, she has one of the coolest names ever, Allgood. And I say that a lot. I'm like, yeah, it's all good. She's like, yeah, I know. I'm like, okay, fine. Stacy, she's a trip. She's a phenomenal massage therapist. She has hands that'll make you like it. She hurts and makes it feel good all at the same time. She also decided to make the jump into real estate, and she's rocking it. She picked the right team, but she has such an incredibly awesome personality and outlook on life. And her husband, Juan here, sup, Juan, brother. So her husband, Rick, Juan and I did a video series for another project that Juan and I did called Throwback Guys. And her husband was our videographer. And that was a trip. That was so much fun. Stacy also was part of that. She helped us do that as well. But I truly adore Stacy and her outlook on life and her sense of humor. We do Marco Polo almost daily. Guys, if you don't know what Marco Polo is, it's just a video walkie-talkie. Juan and I do it almost daily. If you want, I love Marco Polo, and I do a little bit of a motivational thing every day with folks using that. So just throwing that out there. This is the guy she teamed up with, Eric Verdi. You want to talk about just a crazy entrepreneur. This guy has one of the most successful real estate organizations in that area up in Maryland. This is Maryland. He also does a podcast every month where he highlights a different business. I was on his podcast. That's how I met him. I don't even know who referred me to him. Now that I think about it, I'll have to ask Eric on that one. And then he's turned that podcast into a video cast, a vlog series, not vlog series, a video cast series. So he's just up in the game. And right there, he's got that sign that says "Little Help." He also runs a awesome. Oh, my dog woke up. Hi, Sandy. Are you gonna come say hi to everyone? Come say hi. Come say hi. Yeah. Hi. Say hi, Sandy. Yeah, you're my lap dog, aren't you? Okay, now don't slobber on me. Go to bed. That's my lap dog. That's Sandy. So you're okay. He has that sign that says help please. So he helps runs the local chapter of Impact. Correct me on this one. No, lay down. We're not done yet. Lay down. I don't wanna. Lay down. Good girl. And they raise tens of thousands of dollars every quarter for local nonprofits. It is insane what they do. And he is a bulldog on that. I absolutely adore him for that. As a matter of fact, I was having lunch with Stacy one day, maybe it was dinner, And Eric caught wind that we were having dinner. He specifically and purposely stopped by because he and I had been on video together. We had been on the podcast together, and we had never met each other face to face. He's like, he completely changed his route and his schedule just to come shake my hand, say hi, and then he had to bounce. This woman right here, Nancy Chaffin, her husband, Tom. So Nancy Chaffin, along with Melody, and soon you're going to hear about Andy Smith. So Nancy Chaffin impacted me more than most anyone in my life. She was the leader of our Builders Club, which is a leadership 4-H club in my little town. And because of Nancy and her leadership and her foresight and her passion and her love and everything that she poured into us, there was a group of us. Michelle, as a matter of fact, was part of my leadership group. She went to Paris on a 4-H exchange. We went to Washington, D.C. Now, remember, we're small town Idaho kids. We don't go to Washington, D.C. We don't go to Paris, France. We don't go to Memphis, Tennessee. We had kids that went to France, to the Netherlands, to Australia, to I can't even remember where everyone else went. Nancy Chaffin has impacted tens of thousands of people through the legacy of leadership and development. I'm going to get, every time I talk about Nancy Chaffin, Andy Smith, I always get emotional because I will never have the opportunity to pay back what they gave to me, ever. There's no way I can directly repay that. The only way I can do it is to pay it forward. That's the only way. And I have a lifetime of that. Lifetime just in these individuals, let alone the other hundreds of leaders and youth developers that I was associated with. These individual people had that big of an impact on my life. And Nancy was one of my first that agreed to be on the show. And she knocked everybody's socks off. This guy right here, buddy of mine, and you'll recognize his now wife. There you go. They've both been on the show. John Mayhew. So John, I met when we lived in Oklahoma. My wife was stationed there at Fort Sill, and John's a mortgage guy. And John and I got to be great pals. 1:00 in the morning conversations. And he impacted me a lot. I learned so much from him with his work ethic and everything that had to do with it. I appreciate this man. And you want to talk about a freaking just rock star in the mortgage industry. This guy, his shit is straight, and he's on a path of huge success. I can't say enough about him. I really can't. John is just an incredible human being. He makes huge impacts, and it is because of John that I met Seth, and then John pitched me to talk to Lori about their nonprofit. That's what this is about. I've learned that this platform right here, I'm a networking guy. I love meeting people. I love connecting with people. That's my gig, right? What we're doing right now, this is another level of networking. I've met people from overseas. I've become friends with insanely successful marketers and coaches, and this is just the start. And I'm not doing this just for me. You guys, I'm connecting you guys. None of this is for me to benefit. Okay, I benefit from it. I can't lie. But none of this is solely for me to benefit. It's not. And I've been able to connect a few people on here to each other. And through, we've got this really cool Marco Polo kind of mastermind group that several of you guys, that's how we are connecting even further and deeper. So, and all of this is because of Jennifer Quinn. This is the whole reason for KickASSery. The whole reason this even happens is because of this woman right here. She has her own book, right? Leverage Live Streaming to Build Your Brand. I know 2 authors. I've had these guys on here. She is a world-renowned live streamer. She's been considered over the years to be one of the most influential female live streamers in the industry. She's been on every platform that's ever existed, and she keeps moving forward. She's super duper smart businesswoman. We go way back. We really do. I helped teach her how to DJ when I was back doing that. I really appreciate everything that Jenny's done for me, and her mentoring and her kicking my teeth in and saying, no, you need to do this and you need to do that. You need to make it happen now. I really appreciate her doing that. She is impacting a ton of lives. And if you are, or if you're considering on live streaming, you need to pick up her book. It's on Amazon. Jennifer Quinn, Leverage Live Streaming to Build Your Brand. It's the perfect jump off platform for you to understand. And just like anything with social media, there may be a few pieces, maybe a platform or two that might be a little dated, but the basis and the information it's going to last forever. So Jennifer Quinn, I'm telling you, you guys need to reach out to that gal. Here's one of my mostest funnest gals ever, Summer Chaffin. Summer, I love you to death. She is always on here. She is like our welcome wagon. She is our unofficial welcomer to all of our new ass kickers. She's on here all the time. And here's how I decided to bring her on. Summer and I knew of each other. I went to high school with her younger sister. And I've had a Freudian slip a few times when I've called her sister's name, just because they looked like dang near identical. And so I saw Summer through Crystal's post and on. And I saw Summer was actually going out and publicly overcoming some fears. And she did it with Facebook Live. And she was like, hey, this is me. I'm being real. I'm being raw. And I watched her as she grew through that. And it was incredible to watch her do that. I'm like, hey, I want you on the show. I want to learn more about you. I want to show others that you can grow and learn and get over your fears, and you're doing it. And I appreciate you, Summer. You are an incredible human being, and I'm excited and proud to be watching you grow through all of this. All right, where are we at? Okay, you want to talk about, okay, I've got a couple comments down here. Juan had a couple in here. Where'd they go? Oh, there they are. Oh, this goes back to Stacy. Yeah, we did a video shoot, and her husband, we got him laughing so hard, Juan and I, that he spit his food out. It was awesome. And then Juan and I do a lot of communicating and mentoring through Marco Polo. So Colleen Struby. Colleen is probably, I call her the networking queen up in the Frederick, Maryland area. Well, Maryland, period. Everybody knows Colleen. Colleen she knows how to network. She knows how to work the networking scene. She knows how to follow up. As a matter of fact, that is her business, is helping people understand how to take those connections you make very quickly at a networking event and how to follow up on them and how to build them into your stream and to put them in your funnel. And she's got a whole business that's centered all around that, on what tools to communicate with and how to send out proper cards. And oh, awesome, buddy. Yeah, they're in the same community. Awesome. I miss Colleen since I've moved. I used to have a meeting with Colleen at least once a week. And then of course I'd bounce into her at least at one or two networking events throughout the community. So if you want to, between Kenny Pittman and Colleen Struby, if you want to know how to network and how to follow up on those connections and those possibilities, those are the people that you need to reach out to, because they are Stu freaking Pendis. Now, this Shaggy boy right here is my boy. This Shaggy man, not the one with his tongue out, even though Mark usually has his tongue out. No, Mark Stavanis. Mark and I met him through networking, through I believe a BNI chapter. and we hit it off. He invited me to work. He's the one that got me started doing the mud dog runs, which is a mud obstacle run that we do twice a year up there in Frederick. He's the one that brought me in on that project. I've been a part of that now for 4 or 5 years. He's a great man, and you guys, he's a great motivator. He speaks truth. He is the quintessential entrepreneur. He doesn't freaking quit. This dude is a bulldog. He doesn't quit. He may shift gears. He may do something, but he doesn't quit. He gave me the opportunity. He's got a business. He has several businesses, but he has a really, really, really cool business called Heavy Metal Playground. I've been talking about too many businesses. Heavy Metal Playground, which is, it's very basic. It's a big kids playground where you go out and you play on excavators, you dig holes, you play games, you rip cars apart. He's also expanded that to offer operational certification on excavators. He is being a huge impact on that community, and I had the opportunity to help him get off the ground. I had a small part in it, in the big scheme of things, but I feel very humbled and fortunate that I could say that I helped that get off the ground, because within the next 2 years, guys, Heavy Metal Playground is going to be a very common name, and it's going to be world renowned. Got it, Juan. Yeah, he'll battle you on that one. Fly Eagles, Fly Eagles fly. So Mark Stavanis, if you haven't connected with that man, you really, really need to. Speaking of connecting with people, Rhonda Boyle. Rhonda has turned into a mentor of mine since we've been on the show. This was another referral from John Mayhew. Jason Sargent, which is coming up here in a minute, has turned into a phenomenal, I'll tell you that story in a moment, but Rhonda has become an incredible mentor of mine. And she's kind of taken me under her wing. And it's interesting to me. It makes me wonder sometimes, why do people do that? Why do people invest their time and their energy into people? She's a professional coach. She doesn't need to do this, but she has chosen to do this. And I am forever grateful. She has taught me so much. She teaches me something. This is another Marco Polo. We talk several times a week on Marco Polo. See a theme here. And as a matter of fact, she's the one that introduced me to Marco Polo. There you go. So Rhonda Boyle, Strength Finders, that's where I talk about, I have high strategy. I'm very strategic, and I have high communication and relationships. And so if you guys hear me talking about that, that's that Gallup Clifton Strength Finders program. I am in love with it. I'm totally geeking out on it still to this day. She also is a huge coach in law of attraction. So she's figured out how to combine that Strength Finders and law of attraction. The beauty of how Rhonda talks about law of attraction, let me be honest with you. Michelle's on here, and her and I have talked about this for forever. Whenever I heard law of attraction, I was like, okay, that's just phooey voodoo, like hippie talk stuff, right? And it didn't speak to me until I sat down and talked to Rhonda Boyle about law of attraction. And she brought in neuroscience. She brought in faith. She brought in the Bible. She brought in just straight up, I'm a country kid, just straight up common sense. And she spoke to me, and I was like, holy crap, I get this shit now. I understand it now. And Michelle Miller, guys. You guys need to really convince Michelle Miller to be on KickASSery. That's what you need to do. Is Michelle has figured out law of attraction way above my ability, but I'm learning and I'm implementing it. And Rhonda has been a huge supporter and has really helped me. She's very patient with me, and I really appreciate that. She was on the show twice. One time she was talking about, she has this really, really cool money game where the whole point of the money game is to break our deficiencies and our mindset of lack my vocabulary is leaving me. It's trying to get us into a mindset of abundance when it comes to money, because the majority of us have this messed up relationship with money. And that's why we're always broke. And that's a process for me. And this money game that her and her husband designed from scratch is freaking amazing. Amazing, right? So who are we to next? So Crystal Saxon. Crystal Saxon took me a long time to convince this young lady to get on the show. And finally, I just told her she doesn't have a choice. This is what's going to happen. Crystal, she's my sister from another mister. We look just alike, don't we? Same complexion and everything. So Crystal is building a worldwide ministry from scratch, from nothing. And she has a direct connect with the Lord. I'm telling you, I only have a few people in my life that when they pray, things happen, period. They say, this, Lord, this is what needs to happen. Guess what? It happens. She's one of them. So getting her on here, she's a cancer survivor. She's had a rough road to hoe, and yet she's still on it and she's still doing it. And she had some amazing things to talk about, and just her story of her cancer and how she came through it. And I love this girl to death, and I'm super excited to be a small part of her process. And, with my shirt company, Shirt Hit the Fan, we're going to be taking care of all of her ministry shirts and whatnot, which of course, Shirt Hit the Fan kind of looks like shit hit the fan. So there's that some people get weird about bad words in ministry. You know what? The Lord has a sixth sense of humor, and he gets it. He gets it. So Crystal, who's up next? Chris Kershishnik. I just like saying his last name, Kershishnik. He is a phenomenal realtor up in the Frederick area, talking about too many people and places. Great family, man. Huge family. He's a North Dakota boy. He's a Dakota boy. I think it's North Dakota. North Dakota boy. Super humble, Marine as well, just like Brad. And I've always respected Chris a lot. I got him on here. We talked about a lot of real estate. I bragged on him a bunch. And since then, he is now our realtor, taking care of our house there in Frederick that we're selling. And he's done a freaking stupendous job. I appreciate this man. He does a lot for the community. His wife, bless her heart, they have 8 kids, and she homeschools every single one of them. Wow. That's incredible to me. But the thing that I really respect a lot about Chris is, if you look at a lot of the conversations around Facebook in the community, Chris is somewhere involved in that conversation. And whether it's a deep political conversation or it's whatever it is, he's a part of it. Do you need outside? Do you want out? Hold that thought for just a second. I just got to let out the door. Come on. Out the door. There you go. Gotta love home offices, but I love it. She's my big cuddle bear. So really respect Chris a lot. Really respect him a lot. And then the one, the only, my number Juan. This man right here, we met at a networking event as well. We sat next to each other and we just hit it off, and everybody told us to shut up because we were being too loud. Juan, buddy, what can I say that's not hanging laundry out? No, would never do that. Juan and I worked for Juan for a while. Juan and I partnered up for a while. This dude, this guy gets my humor. I get him. We kick each other in the teeth all the time to hold each other accountable for stuff. We call each other on our shit. He's a huge part of his family. He has a beautiful, beautiful family. He's making huge strides in his career. He decided to jump careers to something that he had never done before. It's like drinking from a fire hose, the industry he jumped into, and he's kicking names and taking ass. And I truly appreciate him. He's a huge piece of our mentoring group on Marco Polo. He's always in there. And, Michelle Miller and Juan, they're always having lunch and sending me pictures and making me feel jealous because I'm not there anymore. But this guy, Juan, he's got some great insights on life. And he's not very humble. He's kind of big on himself. He's got a big head. He's kind of arrogant and kind of pompous at times. And I struggle with that, but no, not at all. Not at all, brother. And it's fun. When Juan and I are around, we complement each other's skills a lot. I mean, like a lot, because we're both funny, we're both very witty, we're very, very quick, and what it comes down to is when we're together, we really try to lift everyone else up. We're always trying to get people to smile. We've had meetings with people where they can't breathe because they're laughing so hard, and that means the world to the world. Is we can bring that levity to the world, and it's so much fun, so much fun. We've had some very hard conversations, and we've had way more fun conversations. And when we were doing the Aww. When we were doing the throwback guys, that was a freaking blast. That will come back someday, but I don't know. We tried to do it like this for a while, and our schedules didn't work. But throwback flicks and throwback guys will come back someday. So Juan, appreciate you, brother. Love you, man. Danny Farrar, this was my first celebrity moment where I got a local celebrity on the show. I reached out to Danny. Danny kind of sort of knew me. He's in the Frederick area. He is a co-founder of Platoon 22, used to be known as, my brain just went soft. Anyway, Platoon 22. He's also the co-founder of Soldier Fit, which Michelle goes to Soldier Fit every day. Soldier Fit has been considered one of the top franchises like several years in a row. They've won a bunch of Maryland State, small business awards. They're exponentially growing year over year, and he's also running for a local office. So this guy, Danny, he's a public speaker. He's a motivational speaker. He former Army. He was actually one of the first responders at the Pentagon on 9/11 when that crash happened. He was one of the first. He was either the first one through the door, or one of the first soldiers through the door on site in the Pentagon. So when I reached out to Danny, I was like, well, I got this little thing going. Would you be interested? And he's like, yeah, let's schedule it. Let's make it happen. And I was like, oh, crap. Awesome. So that was a humbling moment for me, because I was like, okay, so you got to be careful what you ask for, right? And he jumped on, had some phenomenal words of wisdom, super awesome guy. I loved it that Danny was willing to do that. And he's all over oh, so Michelle just left Soldier Fit. Small world. All right. Who else do we have? Oh, my buddy Kirk. So Kirk Chester and I, another 4-H kid I grew up with. He grew up in the city south of us, down in Chalice, Idaho. This guy has made an insane success of himself, and he's just getting started. Guys, this is going to be one of those guys that you're going to hear the word Kirk Chester in the Idaho, Utah community when it comes to investing, when it comes to insurance, when it comes to money management, and you're going to know who the hell this guy is. Kirk is building an insane team right now. And you want to talk about leadership in business. Kirk has went from, and this is my opinion, this is my view. I'm not speaking for Kirk. Kirk went from being in the trenches doing the job every day, which he still does, but now he's investing in his team, and he is building an incredible team. Every opportunity I get to talk to him, which is very far and few between because he is so insanely busy, is he's traveling here to learn this, how to do that. And he's implementing this for his team because of that. And I mean, the guy, oh man, he's pouring himself into his team because he recognizes the people in his business are his business. His customers are his business. And he just bought the insurance company that was in his hometown. And now he's pouring himself into that. And he's going to continue to just do that. And it's incredible for me to say that this dude calls me friend. Seriously. I mean, and I'm not saying that to say he wouldn't, because he's just a cool country kid, but for me to say, yeah, I know Kirk, we grew up together, We went snowboarding all the time together. We went to 4-H conferences together, and this guy is doing it. Now, has it been an easy road? No. Has he failed? Yes. Has he lost everything and built it again? Yes, absolutely. It did not just start here and just grow for him. No, it went and now he's doing it. So, and it may have even made that sound when it happened. I don't know. Chef Spear. I've had 2 chefs on the show, which how cool is that? Chris Spear, I met him once again, Chamber Networking event. It's all about networking for me. Thank you, Michelle. He went from working in the corporate kitchen to having his own not catering, home chef, where he comes into your home and he brings everything. You don't even have to dirty one plate. He brings everything into your home, cooks everything for you, teaches you how to do it if you want, cleans it all up, and takes it back, and he washes everything himself. He's expanded that even more. He now works with other chefs. He's created Chefs Without Restaurants, which has gotten traction. It's been on radio and TV. He's been in several books. His articles have been published in a lot of magazines. This guy people know about, from Jersey to DC to Philadelphia. I mean, people know in that industry, they know who Chef Spears is. And super cool guy. He'll sit down with you and have coffee with you. And yet he has had some amazing success, really, really cool success. We're getting there, guys. This shows you how many people we've talked to in less than a year. And I'm not going to stop. This has been an hour. I don't care. Andy Smith. This man to this day still speaks into me. He's a cancer survivor. He is a survivor of a cancer that has like a 80 some percent death rate. The kind of cancer, I couldn't tell you what it was. It was a form of blood cancer. And he survived it. He kicked it. He's cancer free. He's one of a handful of people in the United States that's ever done that. And he's been studied. I mean, he's under a long-term study by some cancer institute. I don't remember which one, on how the hell did he do that? You know, he's a farmer. He's a 3rd-generation farmer. As a matter of fact, he's back into farming again. He is a mentor. He's a speaker. He's a real estate guy. I'll tell you, this man, he has, like Nancy Chaffin and Melody Cower, when it comes to 4-H, these people have influenced thousands, if not tens of thousands of people with their leadership legacy. As a matter of fact, that was one of the conversations. Andy's been on the show several times, and we talked about legacy and leadership. That was the multi-generational legacy of leadership. And I want to get him back on and talk about that again, because I feel that is super ridiculously important, especially in our current times. And Andy, what a beautiful, amazing, incredible man that is. And you talk to any kid that has had anything to do with Andy Smith, and they're going to say, yeah, that guy is incredible. And now there's one person I'm missing on here. There she is. All right. Mentors. Jason Sargent. So Jason had the unfortunate pleasure of spending 2 solid weeks with me on the road. So he hired me to go down south. He does printing, like business cards and that kind of printing. He also does vehicle graphics. He ended up getting a contract for like 130 some odd cars to go rebrand these cars throughout Alabama, Louisiana, no, not Louisiana, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, and I think we were in Georgia, Louisiana. I don't know. It was a blur. We had a month's worth of work that we busted out in 2 weeks. It was insane. Did 136 cars in 11 days. And 2 reasons why I wanted to go on that trip with him. 1, money's always good. I always like making money. The second was I had the opportunity to sit in the car and sponge up information from an insanely intelligent man. Jason, he's a walking calculator for one. This guy, give him any math problem and he'll figure it out in his head. The other thing is he has been and is super successful in business. He gets business. So I just wanted to absorb as much information as I could from him. You know, he had a hugely successful business, and then he lost it, and now he's back to growing another hugely successful business. And I love watching him, learning from him. He has kind of taken me under his wing as well on the business side of mentoring, and he's really helping me get Shirt Hit the Fan off the ground. And it's incredible to have people like that. And I'm super stoked that he helped me start Shirt Hit the Fan. As a matter of fact, I think Shirt Hit the Fan, the name of it was his idea, and he's been with me the whole time. We've had our ups and downs between us, and yet at the end of the day, we're still good. We're still making it happen. Jamal Rashad, this guy right here is really the reason that I do Triple D. My daily drive or daily dose of Dale, whatever you want to call it. I had kind of dabbled in it years ago, probably like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago. I kind of dabbled in it, and then I was like, I feel narcissistic. I feel like I'm doing this all for myself. And I was sitting at having a drink with him at Wegmans. We were sitting there, and he's like, "So are you going to do this or not?" And I said, "Well, nah." He's like, "You're being selfish. You're being selfish." He's like, "You have things to say, and you have things that people need to know." He's like, "Stop, just get over yourself and go do it." Because he has a series called Valor Lives, where he does interviews, face-to-face interviews. It's a 10-minute interview, and it rocks. It absolutely rocks. He's highlighted some insanely, incredibly awesome people. And so I went out in my car. I jumped on, what was I doing? YouTube or Facebook. I don't remember which one it was. It could have been anyway, my brain just went soft, and I jumped on and I did it. And I've been doing it ever since. So the whole reason for Triple D that I actually got off my butt and did it, it's that guy's fault right there. So I appreciate Jamal. Jamal's a great guy, super incredibly awesome dude right there. And last, but by no stretch of the imagination least, by any stretch of the imagination least, Karen Utter. So Karen, her husband passed from cancer. It was not a pleasant process. And with that life experience, she's gone on, and now she speaks to other women and other couples that are going through it. She mentors and coaches. She is in the process of writing a book about the process. She has a show that she does called Risen from the Ashes, and where she talks to spouses or people who've gone through cancer and how they've done that. I met her through her son. So back to 4-H. You see a bit of a theme here, right? 4-H. Her son had forgotten his sleeping bag. I think it was his sleeping bag up at teen conference. So I drove his sleeping bag. It was not that far. They lived in the same community-ish, maybe 40, 50 miles for me to go take him his sleeping bag. No big deal. So took him, and it was on. We just, as a family, I became part of the family, and we've been super awesomely tight ever since. You know, she's another one of those that has a direct connect with the Lord. She has the ability to, when she prays and when she talks, things happen in a big way. But here's what I respect about her as well, is she's real. She's real. She talks about her flaws, and she tells you how it is. And she has a sick sense of humor that really works for me. And she'll talk about any subject. It doesn't matter what the subject is. And she is super awesome with the kids. You know, she has the biggest heart in the world. She has, like, classmates of her children. She has 3 kids. Classmates, they'd be like, yeah, I got kicked out of my house. She's like, all right, I got a couch. Come sleep until you get it worked out. You're not going to sleep on the street. You're going to sleep on my couch so I can make sure that you have a roof and you at least get 2 meals a day. Done. Period. There is no discussion. She's taken in, people from her church. So many parts and so much of Karen I aspire to be because of her faith, because of her selflessness. And I have to beat on her all the time about her lack of confidence. Because once again, people see in us what we don't see in ourselves. And this woman is going to take the world over once she gets out of her own way. And I'm calling her out on that right here, right now. And she knows it. The humbling part about KickASSery for me is it's so deep. But I've had people over the last couple months who are like, hey, where you been? What's going on? I'm like, life, timing, work. Is people are like, these people are super successful and yet they're super humble. And they came from probably where I came from. Yeah. Yeah. And everyone has a story. Everyone has a beginning. And it's helped me really understand. It's really helped me to at least start to understand that we all have the ability to do whatever we want to do. It just takes time and money. It takes effort. It takes willingness. And what I'm going through right now, and I talk a lot about over on Triple D and in our Marco Polo groups, is I'm having to get out of my own way. And this right here, and you guys have helped me do that because I'm learning that I can reach out to the Seth Humphreys of the world and the Nancy Ray Allens of the world. And I can reach out, which I don't even know if we talked about Nancy Ray, did we? No, we didn't. I missed one. Nancy Ray Allen, holy in your face amazingness. Holy in your face amazingness. This woman, sorry, I gotta be as, let's see if I can find Nancy on here. There she is. Nancy. She is, yeah. In your face, tells you how it is. There is no debate about it. This is how it is. This is who you are in all the amazingness. Spent about half an hour on the phone with her. She spoke into me. I broke down crying. She came on the show. That's yeah. And the Nancy Rays, the Matt Lamonts, the super high chefs, the super high coaches, the celebrities, it's shown me that I need to practice what I preach and I need to stay on this. KickASSery is worthwhile. Out of everything that I'm doing in all the businesses that I have, this is my give back. This is beyond everything else. I don't make a dime off of this. If you want to buy some shirts, that's great. That helps me get new widgets and make things pretty and keep subscriptions up so that I can keep things going. That would be a huge help. And I'll probably be doing some of that, pushing a little bit, but I'm not doing this to make money. I'm doing this because this makes an impact. And I've been hearing that it makes a big impact. So you guys are amazing. You guys are incredible. I've been on here for over an hour now, and I don't care because every single one of these people, and I hope I didn't miss anyone. I may have missed someone. If I did, I truly apologize. This is just going to keep getting bigger and more impressive and more incredible. I'm looking through my list to make sure I didn't miss anything. I don't think I missed anyone. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. And as always, keep smiling because somebody's going to need it. Okay, guys, I'll talk to you soon.